There is someone whose heart is quietly, yet deliberately, working against you. A person who has drawn close enough to study your comfort, understand your sanctuary, and now aims to sever your connection to the place you call home. This is not imagination nor idle suspicion. This is a truth moving beneath the surface like a silent tide, pulling away the ground from beneath your feet without a sound. They operate with an unsettling calm, cloaking their motives with gestures of normalcy while planting seeds meant to grow into your removal. This is not born of a moment's rage. It is strategic, spiritual, sustained. They seek assistance beyond what the eye can see, drawing energy from dark corners, tapping into sources shrouded in mystery, calling on things not of flesh and blood. They want you displaced, unrooted, uncertain of where you belong. You may feel secure now, your life wrapped in the shelter of walls, memories, and daily rhythms, but someone is chipping away at that peace, one silent strike at a time. You sense it, don't you? The subtle shift, the unease in the air, the way shadows seem to linger longer than they should. It is not coincidence. It is not paranoia. It is preparation. You are the target of a plan whispered into being, a plan dressed in silence and moved forward by envy, bitterness, or pride. And yet, there is something they do not understand. Your home is not protected by locks or doors alone. There is a divine power wrapped around you, a sacred promise that shields your dwelling with light no darkness can breach. You must remember this. You must hold to it when the pressure rises, when the air feels heavy with unseen opposition, when words meant to displace you are spoken with smiles. Their strategy is subtle, to scatter your mind, to tarnish your name, to question your presence without ever confronting you directly. But your spirit is not so easily broken. Your identity is anchored in something deeper than space. It is rooted in a divine narrative that cannot be rewritten by human intent. You were placed where you are by the will of one who sees far beyond today. No whisper in the dark, no spell cast in secret, no alliance forged in shadows can undo what has been divinely decreed. And yet, they continue, plotting, whispering, sowing. But you, child of light, you are not blind, and you are not alone. There are forces moving on your behalf that this person cannot see. There are protections rising like walls of fire, unseen but unshakable. What they intend for evil, heaven will bend for your good. Where they try to break, God will restore. This is a test, not a sentence. This is a trial, not a defeat. The pressure you feel is the stretching of your spirit preparing to rise. Do not be discouraged. The signs may come, cold glances, twisted stories, even people you once trusted leaning away. But know this, these are not endings. They are exposures. Every false ally will be revealed. Every hidden motive will come into the light. They are reaching for help from sources that deal in fear, confusion, and distortion. But your strength is clarity. Your gift is discernment. And your home? Your home is sacred ground, not easily taken and never lost without your surrender. Hold fast to this truth. When you feel outnumbered, remember who surrounds you. When you feel unheard, know your prayers are being recorded in heaven. When you feel weak, remember your power is made perfect in surrender to the divine. You do not need to match shadow for shadow, you are the light. They move in secrecy. You walk in truth. Their plan will fall not because of your retaliation, but because it contradicts a higher purpose. You were not placed in this house by chance. You were not settled here without intention. Your story is not finished because someone else is tired of your presence. Even now, doors are opening, allies are arriving, documents are aligning in your favor. God does not sit silent when one of his children is under threat. This fight is more than bricks and land. It's about peace, calling, purpose. And every attempt to strip you of it will be answered with favor beyond comprehension. Your roots grow deeper through storms. Your light shines brighter in the night. This pressure will become your testimony. Every tear is being turned into strength. Every doubt is being rewritten as destiny. They will watch as their plans dissolve into dust while you stand, unchanged, unshaken, unmoved. You will not beg to stay. You will not plead for your place. You will speak with authority, rooted in truth, unbothered by their attempts. Their strategy is built on deception. Yours is built on faith. And faith, when tested, becomes unbreakable. Prepare yourself, not in fear, but in expectation. What is rising in your defense is bigger than what is coming against you. The angels assigned to you have not grown weary. They are gathering. And those who seek to push you out will soon find themselves face to face with a force they cannot understand. You are not merely surviving, you are prevailing. This is your space. This is your time. The foundation may have been shaken, but it will not crack. The light within you will not go out. In fact, it is burning stronger. It is summoning the right help at the right time. Someone unexpected will speak in your favor. Doors that were closed will open. You will be vindicated. You will be strengthened. And you will flourish. Let this be your anthem. I am not afraid. I am not shaken. I am not alone. The plot against me is dissolving. The force within me is greater than anything against me. I will remain. I will rise. I will prosper. This is not the end, it is the beginning. No plan formed in darkness can override the decree spoken in light. What is yours cannot be taken. Your peace is your inheritance. Your home is your right. You are watched, guided, and protected. This battle is not yours, it is already won. Your strength will surprise even you. Your endurance will silence your critics. Your resilience will mark you as one who was unmovable. Let them try. Let them plot. But watch as their efforts falter while you stand tall. Because you do not stand alone. You are surrounded, upheld, ordained. You are chosen for this. Let this fire refine you, not consume you. Let the resistance shape your resolve. The weight is heavy, but you were built for it. Your time has come. Your light is rising. Your home will remain a sanctuary, and your story will echo with the sound of victory, long after the whispers fade. You are not going anywhere. There is a message rising for you like a tide that cannot be held back, a revelation whispered not by ordinary voices but carried on the breath of heaven, an urgent call to your soul to awaken, to see, to listen with eyes unclouded and ears unstopped, for what you are about to receive is not a coincidence, not imagination, but truth unveiled at the appointed hour for your protection, your empowerment. You're anchoring in a time when forces unseen seek to shake you, to displace you, to unravel the peace you have built with hands of faith and years of quiet endurance. This is not just a warning, it is a declaration, a spiritual unveiling of a plan conceived in shadows, executed in silence, and cloaked in the appearance of normalcy, carried out not by strangers, but by one whose proximity disguises their threat, a person who knows your rhythms, who has walked your halls, smiled in your presence, but in their heart has cultivated a will to see you removed, undone, scattered like leaves in a storm. Their motives are not momentary, their resolve not spontaneous, for this has been simmering in the recesses of their soul, nurtured by bitterness, watered by envy, fueled by a desire to control what does not belong to them, and now, they are aligning themselves with dark influences, making appeals not just to people but to principalities, drawing on powers that do not walk in light, seeking help not from counsel but from chaos, from spirits that feed on division and feast on despair. Yes. This is deeper than gossip, deeper than betrayal. It is warfare masked in politeness, a spiritual eviction notice being crafted behind closed doors while you go about your life, unaware, perhaps feeling unsettled, perhaps sensing the shift but unable to name it. Yet now it comes into focus, and you must be ready, not to fear, but to stand, not to flee, but to fight. Not with fists or fury, but with the force of truth, the shield of faith, the armor of the unseen that surrounds those who are chosen. Those who are rooted in purpose, because the house they wish to take from you is not just wood and stone, it is your legacy, your fortress of healing, your altar of worship, the place where promises were birthed and dreams took root. It is holy ground marked by divine fingerprints, and no scheme can uproot what God has planted without divine permission, and that permission has not been granted, nor will it ever be. For your presence in that place is part of a larger tapestry of destiny. 1. They cannot understand and therefore cannot unravel, though they try through whispers and manipulation, through legal games and spiritual interference, through subtle sabotage and strained alliances, trying to isolate you, confuse you, make you second-guess your belonging, your worth, your rights, your standing. But let them be confused instead. Let them be frustrated by the walls they cannot breach and the doors that will not open to them. For angels have been stationed where your sight cannot reach, and their swords are drawn, their watch unceasing, guarding the threshold of your dwelling, rebuking every force that dares approach with evil in its heart. And you must know this, must feel it in your spirit, must declare it aloud. This is not the end, this is the proving ground, the turning point, the moment when your roots grow deeper and your vision sharpens. When your discernment cuts through the fog and you begin to see people not just as they present themselves but as they are. When masks fall and motives become clear, and the one who sought to move you will find themselves moved, not by their own plans but by the consequence of tampering with divine order, there is power within you that even you have yet to comprehend, strength in your words, fire in your prayers, thunder in your silence when it is rooted in divine assurance, and your resilience is not human, it is supernatural, it is ancient, passed down through bloodlines that have endured storms and sieges, and now it awakens fully because the time has come for you to rise, not just in defense but in dominion, to re-establish your authority, to cleanse your space of intrusion spiritual and emotional, to call on the armies of heaven and watch them move on your behalf, not just to protect, but to restore, to vindicate, to elevate you above the reach of pettiness and plots. For what is formed against you will not prosper. What is whispered in shadows will be exposed in the light. What is schemed in silence will be scattered by divine winds, and you will not be moved, not because you resist with might, but because you are anchored in divine covenant, sealed by sacred promise, wrapped in glory that no darkness can dim. Yes, it may feel like a battle, but it is already won, and your role is to believe, to walk boldly, to speak life into the walls of your home, to declare over every threshold and window and corner that this is holy ground, and no evil shall pass, to remind every spirit within earshot that you are not alone, never have been, never will be, that heaven is aware, activated, alert, and aligned with your cause because your cause is righteous, your stand is just, your heart is true. Though they may circle like vultures, they will not feed, though they may chant incantations, they will choke on the very curses they send, because the law of spiritual justice is at work and no darkness can override a decree signed by the King of Kings, and every time you pray, every time you praise, every time you choose hope over despair, you are reinforcing your position, reinforcing your inheritance, drawing a line that no enemy can cross without facing divine wrath. Not only will you remain, you will flourish, you will expand, your home will overflow with peace and laughter, your walls will echo with new songs of victory, and the very place they tried to push you out of will become a sanctuary of strength for others, a lighthouse to those who feel lost, a testimony carved into stone that God does not abandon His people, that when you stand in faith, you never stand alone, and that no plan, no power, no pact formed against you can stand because it was never stronger than them. God who defends you. So lift your head, sharpen your voice, set your eyes on the horizon and your heart on the promises, for the shaking you feel is not your fall, but your rise, the noise you hear is not your eviction, but the crumbling of every wall the enemy built in secret, and when the dust settles, you will still be standing, smiling, stronger than before, unshaken, unmovable. Because your roots are deeper than the storm, your faith louder than their lies, and your light too bright for their shadows to dim. And even as they retreat, bewildered by the resilience they did not expect, confounded by the peace you carry in the aftermath of their storm, you will not gloat, for this victory is not rooted in vengeance but in vindication. A holy triumph ordained before they ever drew their plans, a divine reversal written in the archives of heaven, now unfolding in your very presence, and what was once a threat becomes a footnote. What once loomed large now looks small, exposed for its powerlessness in the face of covenant, because you are walking not just in survival but in sovereignty, not just in protection but in prophetic inheritance, and everything that was sent to harm you is being turned, even now, into a catalyst for your elevation, a testimony not just of your endurance, but of your authority. Yes, your authority, long hidden under humility, long buried under layers of pain and false perception, is rising like a lion awakened, and the atmosphere around you is shifting in response. 4. Even the elements obey the command of a child of God who remembers who they are. The land beneath your feet is responding to your awareness, the air itself thick with the weight of angelic motion, because heaven backs the one who walks in alignment, and alignment is now your posture. Not fear, not confusion, not delay, but divine alignment, and with alignment comes acceleration. Sudden movements, unexpected turnarounds, doors opening without you knocking, people sent as divine reinforcements. Not because you begged, but because you believed. This is the season of swift justice, of quiet recompense, of undeniable favor resting not just on you, but in you, pulsing like fire in your veins, reshaping your very countenance until those who see you must pause, must wonder, must acknowledge that something holy marks your steps and guards your way. And what once drained you will now fuel you, what once broke you will now build you, what once made you weep will now become your well of wisdom, and the tears you cried in the dark are now watering the soil of a harvest too vast to measure. This is not poetic flair. This is spiritual reality becoming manifest, and the one who tried to remove you will find themselves removed from access to your presence, not because you hate them, but because the elevation requires separation, and not everyone can follow where you're going. Not everyone can breathe in the altitude of breakthrough. Not everyone can endure the clarity that comes with divine light. For when God exposes, He also refines, and what remains in your circle will be those who have been tested, purified, loyal not just in word but in spirit. Your home, your mind, your soul, sanctuaries now, places of power, not chaos. You are no longer a guest in your own life. You are no longer tolerating what was sent to torment. You are evicting fear, canceling every spiritual lease given to anxiety, rejection, manipulation. You are reclaiming your atmosphere and anointing it with authority, declaring aloud that every inch of your space belongs to heaven's jurisdiction, and anything that cannot bow to light must leave in silence or be scattered by force, for you are not passive anymore, not hesitant, not unsure. You are activated, commissioned, rising in rhythm with the roar of heaven, and the ground you stand on echoes with the sound of legacy, of divine purpose fulfilled through your steps, your words, your breath, your presence. And hear this clearly, you are not going back to how things were. That chapter is closed, sealed by fire, and the ashes are not your identity, they are your evidence. The fact that you still stand is your proof. The glow in your eyes, the peace in your chest, the steady pace of your feet is testimony enough that God did not just bring you through, He has now positioned you in a place no man, no devil, no scheme can uproot. And you, yes, you, will be a sign, a symbol, a burning bush that does not consume but draws others closer to their own awakening. You are not just surviving this battle. You are becoming a banner, a watchtower, a living altar.